Hi, I'm Shim of Shim Sews, and this is part 3 in my Viki Sews pattern review series. Today we'll be talking about Reba, which is this cute hoodie jacket right behind me. But first, let's get into some of the pattern overview and details. Okay, Reba is suitable for beginners. It is a straight cut, loose fitting hoodie. It features front and back decorative insets and a back yoke. The inserts can be made from a different material such as a rib knit or from the same fabric as the rest of the garment. The standing collar continues as a double layer hood that has a drawstring casing. So some of the recommended fibers are medium weight stretch fabrics, not suitable for lightweight fabrics. Let's get down to the fabric requirements. It looks like for a 55-inch piece of material, you need about 1 5/8 yards to 1 3/4. If you have bigger fabric, a little bit less, but 2 yards should be more than enough to complete this project for all of the sizes. And that is pretty much all of the details here for Reba. Alright, so let's get into some of the design details in my fabric choice. So I chose to do this out of like a ponte rama or a double knit ponte. I also used 3 different colors, so I did kind of a color blocking. I used a deep green color, a navy, and a white, and these were remnants left over from other projects that I had previously done with ponte. And so this was kind of like my test run before I try like a heavier fabric or a really expensive fabric. I'm like, I really want to try this hoodie, but I'm not sure about it. Let me just use what I already got. Okay, so that's what I use. It made for a nice like lightweight jacket. So if you're looking for a hoodie that's gonna really keep you warm in the winter time, this fabric would not be a best option. But if you're looking for something that transitions well from kind of summer to fall and maybe even fall into winter, the double knit ponte is a great fabric choice. Let's talk about some of the notions. So the notions you need that I use, so you're supposed to have like a drawstring, but I just used twill tape because that's what I had in my stash to match, so I didn't have to buy anything. And of course a zipper to match. And one of the other changes that I made, design choices that I made, is that I did hem the bottom. So in the instructions you do have a raw hem for this particular hoodie, but I opted to hem the bottom using a cover stitch machine. Otherwise, this jacket is created as described in the instructions. So sewing this garment was pretty easy. I think the most challenging thing about this pattern, even though it is suitable for beginners, is that you have these like corners in here. So like where you have the placket, and then here in the back detail you have these corners, and sometimes for beginners pivoting in the corners can be a little bit more difficult. So while I do think this was pretty easy for me to construct, by the way, this is my first hoodie ever, but while I thought this was pretty easy for me to construct in terms of it being suitable for beginners, I think it is suitable for beginners, but I think it needs to be a beginner who has some sewing experience. This is not my first sewing project. Okay, so that's what I will add, but otherwise I thought it was pretty straightforward. Another thing that I think would make this a little bit more beginner friendly than the version that I created is if you do it all in one color. Because I used 3 different colors and there is top stitching in this pattern, I did switch my threads quite a bit. So the serging threads on the bottom are all the same color, but the top, I always switch my threads so that there wasn't contrast in my top stitching. I think that's to a point another thing that makes this a little less my first project beginner friendly, because of the top stitching. You want your top stitching to be nice and even so that your garment looks really elevated. One thing I also liked about this is, I don't know if you can see it, but oh, you can't see it, so I'll put a picture, but it has a ribbon that goes across the neck, and that ribbon is one stylistically just like really nice, but also it helps keep the neck stable, and you'll find it in some of your ready to wear clothing. You'll see a ribbon in behind your sweatshirts or your polo shirts, and so I really love that she added that detail in the construction process. In terms of time, it probably took me about 6 hours to do it. And again, I think you could probably cut off an hour if you use the same color. So going back and forth between different colored threads really does kind of eat up your time. Even kind of in the cutting process, trying to think about what colors go where, you know, it cuts out a lot of confusion. Just get one color thread, one color fabric, same color notion, zipper, and this little drawstring thing, and be done with it. And that also helps camouflage your top stitching if you're not as confident or comfortable with the top stitching details. So when it came to fit, this fit me really well. This is a size medium for reference if anybody's interested in what size I decided to create. And usually if there's a numerical value, I would choose the size 42 or a size 44, just so you have a frame of reference for the sizing. So I did choose a size medium, and I thought that was the perfect size for me. It's very comfortable. Like I said, I use a double knit ponte, so it is warm without being like hot. So I've been wearing it. I've been dancing in it. I wore it to dance class. I wear it to get groceries. I have been wearing not the sirens. So annoying. I have been wearing it. I have been getting my money's worth out of my scrap project. It's very comfortable. It's very easy to throw on with leggings. I guess I have to wait. Okay, one of the joys of living in the city, there's lots of sirens. So my final thoughts, pros and cons on this particular pattern. The pros, one, it is beginner friendly. And when I say it says suitable for beginners on the website, what I'm going to say in terms of beginner friendly, someone who has some sewing experience. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have made like super tailored garments or anything like that, or really advanced bags. You just need to know some basics about garment construction, and you can successfully make this. It might take you a little longer than, let's say, the 5 or 6 hours that it took me, but you can certainly do it. It could be a nice like stretch project, because I will say it's a little more detailed, right? We talked about in video 2 with the hazel how it was like truly a very beginner pattern with only like 4 or 5 pattern pieces, really straightforward and easy to put together and quick. This is going to be a bit more. You can see from the color blocking, is very obvious that there's more than 4 or 5 pattern pieces here, and it's going to take a little bit more time to get through all the details, but it is relatively easy to put together. Pros. So those are my pros. So cons would be, because it is marked as a beginner pattern, I do think it is more of an advanced beginner pattern. So some of the cons would be that if you are a beginner, this might be more of a stretch or a challenge project. Another con, I didn't really care for the raw edge, so I did go ahead and hem mine. Now, I don't even know if you can really consider that a con. I feel like that's more like a personal like choice, opinion, preference, if you will. But that is one thing that I did not really care about the pattern, but easy fix. Fold it up, hem it. You could also easily lengthen this. So once a con for some people is wearability, because it is a cropped jacket. Some people don't like their midsection out, and it is a longer crop. Like you could see from my video, there's only a slither of skin out, but it is a crop nonetheless. And while I'm very comfortable with a crop top, some may not be. And so another con could be is that it is a cropped, but this could easily, you could easily add a band to the bottom that would give it some length, or just lengthen the pattern. The only con to lengthen the pattern is that there's so many pieces that you would have to lengthen all the pieces. And so that could be another con. I didn't make any modifications in that way, but if you want to make modifications for length, you'd have to do it across all of these different pieces around the jacket. So that would kind of suck. In terms of construction wise, I thought it was pretty straightforward. Like I said, this is my first ever hoodie, and to do one with like the placket and the ribbon in the neckline, I'm quite proud of myself for choosing this to be my first hoodie project. Would I do it again? Absolutely, definitely planning to. I have some leopard print ponte in my stash that I want to create it with, and I think I would love this in black because I love everything in black. Okay, so yes, I highly recommend this pattern. If you're a true beginner and you want a challenge, go for it. If you're a little bit intermediate, absolutely go for it. You'll absolutely love doing this project. It's nice to do something that feels easy but has like such a luxurious outcome, in my opinion. So anyways, thank you so much for watching it this far. This is part 3. Stay tuned for part 4. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below if you would make this jacket, if you like this jacket, what color would you make this jacket. And make sure you check out the description if you want to save 20% on a pattern at vikisews.com. You can find my affiliate code there. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next video.